Okay, then episode 11 of Charlie and Kirsty Talk Women's Football. Man City have played Chelsea again in what feels like the longest episode of Groundhog Day ever. It's constantly the same game,
I
but
am
with a different result.
sick of Chelsea. I am sick of Chelsea. But if today is anything to go off, we lost to them, we beat them, we lost to them. We're going to beat them on Thursday at the Bridge, don't care what anybody says, and then we'll be at the Champions League.
It's like one of them
Wishful
UFC
thinking.
fights that just never stops.
Sick. I never thought I'd say this. I am sick of the sight of Lucy Bronze. I am the biggest Lucy Bronze person ever, as you all know, with the tattoo. Where is it? Look there. My tattoo and everything, like, but even I am sick of Lucy Bronze today.
Yeah, and I feel like every game is just...
We lost 2-1 in the cup final, right?
Yeah.
Then we beat them 3-0 the other day. 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0 the other day. And then we lost again 2-1 today.
But in the games that you've lost, you have been dominating them.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's a level playing field, and the scores just don't represent it, which is really annoying. I
think you dominate the game, and then they've just got too many players to bring on. I think that's the difference.
Well,
and you guys are falling apart.
We are, because in Nick Cushing's press conference tonight, he has come out and said we have another 2 injuries.
Well, Yui went off hobbling, so...
Yui's one of them.
Who's the second one? If you say Viv, I'm going to have to cut this camera off now because your season's over. Because Viv is carrying you lot of them, innit?
No. I don't think you'd think this person was injured because of how they left as well after the game, but they did get ambushed, which I don't think was fair.
Who?
Alexandria.
Oh, bloody hell.
So, Chelsea, it's been lovely to play this many times. It's been lovely to be in the Champions League this season. However, we now need to win at least 3 games and have Arsenal and United lose 3 games. That's not going to happen.
So does that mean your back 4 on Thursday will probably be Leo will be left back, Kirsten right back, and then Gracie, Naomi, potentially even Laura playing instead of Leia. Oh, wow. And you've got to go and defend against Chelsea.
I'm hoping that Yui and Alexandria are just knock. Nick's come out and basically said that it's a case of they weren't in a position to carry on playing this match. But hopefully with some rest, fingers crossed, toes crossed, legs crossed, everything, we will be okay.
Yui was struggling.
Yeah, she was.
She got knocked. She does against Chelsea. She gets beat.
So Yui is the only City player that has started and played all of our WSL games.
She's the most consistent player in the league.
And also, you've got to think, like, these players have played what? So they played Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. They've played 3 intense games against the same team.
Who have millions of players.
Yeah. Like, today when we were sat, we were kind of... They'd said when they did the subs bench, didn't they, that when they were doing the announcements that we didn't have many players, and I was like, oh my God. And then they went through Chelsea's, and I was like, this is just getting worse.
Yeah, you had 3 players that basically weren't.
And you know when you, like, end up drawing with Chelsea, and you look over to the subs bench, and the board's up, and you've got Myra Ramirez and Kira Walsh. It's just game and Erin... Let's not talk about Erin Cuthbert. It's just... I love Chelsea. Like, I love the Chelsea players. Nobody clip that. I love the Chelsea players, but not for Chelsea. I love them for their own national clubs and their own ability to play, but I hate them at Chelsea.
At one point, on the side of the pitch...
Especially Erin Cuthbert.
On one point at the side of the pitch, they had Erin Cuthbert, Ramirez, Kira Walsh, Macario, and Fisher warming up. They were all 5 that came on, and it was like, what?
Yeah. Sonia's there, like, basically sticking 2 fingers up at us going, ha, look at my bench, you've got no one.
And she was basically playing at one point when she stopped the ball, it was on the pitch.
I've never seen her be as, like, angry as she was today, though.
She lost her head,
some of the players were not listening to her, and to the point that she went... and spam round on the spot, and we were like, sorry, who are you? Have you spent time with Emma Hayes?
Yeah, so they tried to win it up high, didn't they? Because they had Aggie Beaver-Jones up there, who's rapid. But when Kiara tried to play it out, like, Aggie Beaver-Jones was the only one that pressed it. So then Sonia just completely lost her head and started screaming on the sideline.
She really did. Do you know what? That is one person I want to give a massive shout out for how they've played today, though. It's Kiara Keane.
Yeah, she got player of the match.
Yeah, and she deserved it. I love that because her mum took it to Mary D's with her after the game. But
bait her out. Like
it was like, I don't know, like she's been thrown out in the deep end. She's been massively thrown in the deep end. She's not played for a long, long while because she's kind of had to just play behind Yama, and she's come in today and she made some phenomenal saves. And there was no save in that Erin Cuthbert goal. There was not.
No.
It was just like our goal. Well, it's not many people can say they've megged Millie Bright and it's gone straight into the goal. That's what I say. But I feel like Kiara has come back in, been thrown at the deep end, and she has coped well with it. She coped really well with it.
I think the thing with Kiara is that, like, she showed last season that pressure doesn't really get to her often, like it did in the United game, but that's just because of the way that City wanted to really play. Like she showed last season that injuries and stuff like that, she's ready to play. So yeah, I didn't have any.
Sideline for a while.
I didn't have any problems with Kiara coming in, and she was mint. She was unreal. She really made the difference in terms of. Chelsea were really strong in the last 25 minutes. Chelsea were really strong attacking. Like they were really ruthless.
That must be what happens when you bring on Myra Miriam and Kira
exactly.
Walsh, though.
But like even like Lauren James was like just skipping past players and taking shots outside the box, and
she was laughing at us at one point.
And the way that they were kind of playing through the lines, like they did the same thing that City did to Chelsea in the first half. So Niamh Charles got up really high, and so did, I think it was Lawrence on the right side, got up really high, and then City just played straight to Carolyn to use the pace and get away from the gap that Charles had left.
Yeah.
And then when Niamh Charles started to sit back and not allow the team to go forward on the wings, it really stopped that gap, and that's what Chelsea then did in the second half. As soon as Kirsten went forward, or as soon as Naomi Laser went forward, they just used that space, and it really got to City because they just couldn't really do much.
I mean, at this point, right, so injuries aside, even though we have literally got Yama out, Viv out, not Viv, Bunny out, Rissa out,
Hemp,
that was who I was thinking of, Greenwood, Rebecca, who else? Possibly Yuri and Alexandri.
Figino, did you say
Figino's out. Think about it this way. Yeah.
That's a team.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It is. And with our bench, Gracie Pryor, big up Gracie Pryor.
She's been unreal.
Gracie Pryor has, like Kiara, been thrown back in the deep end. Obviously, Kiara's got the experience from last season. But Gracie Pryor has come in at the beginning of this season under Gareth Taylor, and she's just from the academy, and she's just proved herself.
The thing with Gracie,
she held her own in that defence against Chelsea today.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Running them ragged on that
she
back
also
line. She played better than Lucy Bond. Just putting that out there.
When it comes to kind of like academy players and stuff like that, sometimes they're a little bit like uncomfortable on the ball. Like they're very technical players because they're there for a reason, but like they'll make a pass that you kind of maybe shouldn't have made that pass, or maybe you should have been a bit more risky. Where her passes are on point pretty much all the time. Like she'll play like a little sideways pass to Alexandria, or she'll try and go straight through and play straight to Yui a lot of the time, and I just think it feels like she's been there a long time. I just think they're so good, City, at the minute of like, right, one's out, you come in, you're going to do exactly the same job. They're very like for like, which is good. The only problem was what Gareth was trying to do before was the tactics and the structure just didn't really work. It was too slow. The players could come in like for like and do the same thing, but everyone was just clocking on to, right, they're just going to keep the ball and they're going to be really slow. Whereas like these last few games from City, mate, they look really good. Like the direct play where they just turn and go was so good to see.
There was a comment that you made today as well, while we were watching it. It was in kind of the first 10-15 minutes when you said City are fluid. City are moving. We're not relying on passing that ball forward and then going all the way back to the defence again to cross it back. It was just like everybody was just constantly moving positions, and from where we were sat, our back three was constantly changing.
Yeah, so they did it
and
before.
And they were switching a lot, and it worked so well.
They did it before, but they've done it all over the pitch now. So a lot of the time
Kirsty.
when like Uwabi would go forward and she'd be almost like a left winger, Yui would drop and play left back. Yeah. Whereas like now, Yui at one point was playing on the left wing, and then Naomi was playing like centre mid, and Kirsten was out on the right wing, and it was just like you can see that they just don't. It was similar to Arsenal yesterday. So Arsenal Liverpool. At one point, we took a corner and we kept the ball up there. And Leah Williamson was playing left wing. She was like crossing the ball in from left wing because it was just like there's no need to run back to your position. If you all understand the game and you all know what everyone's job is, there's no need to go back to the position because someone can just drop and play centre back while she goes out on the wing.
Do you know who I don't think coped very well today in a new position in terms of opposition? Would be this woman, wherever she is behind me.
For audio listeners, Lucy Bronze.
I think Lucy struggled in that centre back position.
She did first half. I think she really cemented herself second half.
It was funny though when the ref went over to speak to her because of a challenge she made today. She did the whole me.
Oh, in the second half, yeah.
And I was just like, oh my
God. I would agree.
How can you love someone but dislike them so much when we're on the pitch against your team? And if we end up with Chelsea again, if we beat United in the FA Cup, good luck, by the way, because we're going to have no team. But if we beat them and we've got Chelsea again in the final, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I'm either going to have to not watch the game, or if we end up at Wembley, just ignore the fact that she's there.
I do think that Chelsea have shown...
It's hard.
They've shown that they are capable of changing during the game as well. Yeah. Like, Lucy, she did struggle in the first half because you could see that her and Millie should have been like that. Off the ball.
He's holding his fingers apart, by the way.
So, yeah, they should have been, like, quite narrow off the ball and then on the ball been a bit wider. But most of the time, Lucy was just leaving a huge gap because she's so used to going out wide right that she was leaving that gap. And that's where Millie was then having to go all the way over to the other side and stop Carolyn. But in the second half, a lot of the time, Lucy was the furthest back. She was the deepest player. Yeah. And she was almost playing that kind of, like, quarterback role of... Right, Millie's going to go forward. I'm just going to get the ball down and I'm going to do the Leah Williamson pass and do the 40-yard pass.
Which in the first half didn't work for her.
No, but in the second half it did because they moved everyone forward and she stayed back. And she can actually make an accurate pass.
She can make an accurate pass.
Unlike Leah Williamson at the minute.
And yeah.
Actually, she done a couple yesterday. So
she did, to be fair. We will get onto them in a minute. But from me, as a Man City fan, I am very, very proud of my darling fiancé Charlie, because if anybody has not seen our Instagram story, or by the time the podcast comes out, the matchday vlog will be out. What did you do today, Charlie? Not for my benefit, can I clarify, but what did you do today that made me cry?
I needed City to win today.
So what did you do?
Because Arsenal obviously won yesterday. I needed City to win because I just need Arsenal to win something this season. So, I was wearing a City scarf. I was singing Blue Moon.
I wish I had caught you singing Blue Moon on camera. For all of you that, have never seen Charlie at a game, unless it's North London Forever, he ain't singing no song. And every time Blue Moon comes on at City, without fail, he goes, it's crap. I'm not singing it, right?
It's not a very good song. However...
Today, he's singing it word for word.
Because I
cried. I am hormonal. I cried.
I needed you lot to win today. Like, if that ref would have just played advantage and that goal would have went in. That second half would have changed so much.
Question. As somebody with more of a football mind than me, because obviously, let's be real, I am still only just understanding where people play in positions. It's taken me 2 seasons.
Yes.
Why do you think she didn't play the advantage? Because she did not blow that whistle until that goal had gone in. She did not.
No, so the tackle was made. I think it's because she just assumed that City would either stop or that the attack had broken down. But kind of the tackle's made and then it kind of rolls across. Mm-hmm. She blows the whistle and then I think it's Yui just hits it. But she did blow the whistle, so at the end of the day it was free kick. But as a ref, you kind of have to then look at that of like, I blew the whistle so early. Like, yes, it's a foul. Just allow it to happen. If Chelsea get the ball and they start running forward, just blow it and say, no, advantage. See, I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, I didn't get it. And even the lady, there's a woman that sits in front of us, and I'm really, really sorry if you see this lady that sits in front of her at the Etihad. But she, when we first had that game at the beginning of the season against Tottenham, she did not have a clue how football worked. And even she looked at her friend next to her and went, "Why is she not playing advantage?" And I was like, whoa, big moment. So then I was obviously questioning it as well. And I was just a bit like, And I don't often question refs. Unless you're Emily Hayslip, I ain't questioning you. My football knowledge may appear to be very strong on here. But that's with a lot of research. I'm never going to, not never, but hardly ever going to question a ref's decision. My cousin's a ref. I know how much grief he gets from people, so I normally just leave them to do their job. But today, even I was questioning some of those decisions, which says a lot. For somebody that's not really got much of a football mind, I know in terms of the facts, but I only just know what positions my player's playing. I was questioning her choices today.
Yeah, I think just play advantage until that team loses the ball.
A choice that has been made very well, though, before we move on to the rest of the WSL, I think bringing Nick in has made a massive difference.
Yeah, he's mint.
He's so good. And I'm not saying that a ref has to be stood up, not a ref, a manager has to be stood up on the side of a pitch the whole game. But he was. He did not sit down once.
It's what interim managers do, though, because they're so new to it and they have their ideas, but the team are so used to that. Rene did it. Amber Whiteley does it. He does it because you're so used to seeing that kind of. He's so used. The players are so used to the Gareth Taylor way of football that he needs to stand on that sideline and make sure that they don't just go into their habit, because it is a habit that they have to break.
Yeah.
They're so used to slowing the game down and playing it, where he's looking at it going, no, play through that line, because that's what we want to do. Break the line if they're there. So he has to stand there and do it. And Renee did the same. And now she goes back and she sits and she watches the stuff. Same with Amber. She's starting to now do that, where she's going in, she's got the earpiece in, she's going in, she's looking at the stuff and then going back out and standing there and doing it. It's just an interim manager thing. They just get used to it.
To keep him.
He's really good.
I would quite like to keep him. Obviously, we'd only just kind of touched on women's football before Gareth Taylor came in. That would be when we watched the 2019 tournament, wasn't it? And so I've never really known anything other than Gareth Taylor. But we have kind of gone back and researched a little bit, haven't we, about Nick Cushing, and I would keep him. Personally, I would keep him.
I think he just
I hope it's a Rennie Slager situation where they interview other people or make out like they're interviewing other people, but then they actually keep hold of the interim manager, because the players seem to have responded so well to him in the past 10 days. Like, we've got to take our hat off to this bloke. He's had 2 weeks at the club, and I feel like he's changed so much already. And I also feel like we're very unpredictable at the minute. And I quite like the fact that teams can't really predict us at the minute. And I know as time goes on, that's obviously going to change and we will be able to be easier to analyse. But I think give him a full season.
I don't think you will,
Give him a full season instead of 6 games and see where we go from there. Because unless you bring in someone exceptional, and no offence to Matt Beard and other people, but I don't feel there's any managers out there at the minute that I would think, oh my God, I want them managing my club. Whereas before I might have, and he was obviously considered for the Arsenal game, for the Arsenal job.
Yeah.
So City have obviously been looking for a while, and do I think that if Steph Horton had been on that coaching team today as she was during the week and last week, instead of doing punditry, do I think the result today might have been different? Possibly, because of her presence, but I absolutely love seeing her in a coaching role, and I would quite like her to stay, Nick to stay, so she can be properly in that backroom staff, because she is what we need right now. We need a consistent leader.
Similar to what Emma Hayes did at Arsenal, like assistant
100%.
manager. Well, that's where most interim managers come from. But with Nick Cushing, I think the difference, like you said about the predictability, I don't think there will be, because he's so like analytical and he changes depending on who you play.
Yeah.
Like, he's very similar to like Graham Potter in the men's game, I think. Like, yeah, he's got his style of play, but then he also, if he knows that he's playing like Arsenal, he'll change his game depending on that. Like, he obviously knew that Niamh Charles was going to get up high and Lawrence was going to get up high. I'm assuming he thought it would be Lucy Bronze that would get up high, But they
Well, it
still,
normally is, isn't it?
but they still just went centre back, centre mid, and played it straight out to Carolyn, who just used her pace to get
She
past.
is rapid.
She's really quick, but that's all you need to do. Like, he noticed that straight away of like, right, the fullbacks get high, let's bring all the pressure in and let's use the speed down that space. And it worked. Like, they should have had so many goals doing that, but I think that's what he's good at. And I think you'll beat the bigger teams because of him.
Yeah, hopefully.
You'll beat Chelsea.
Do you think we'll beat Chelsea on Thursday?
I don't know if you'll beat them, but I think you'll go through.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think you'll go through.
I'm hoping so. It would be nice.
It just depends on, like you said, the injuries, because
yeah,
obviously they're gonna have to go for it. Like, they're not gonna sit behind the ball. They're gonna throw everything at it. They're gonna probably play Ramirez and Aggie Beaver-Jones up front. So Ramirez is gonna like smash the centre back and win it and play it onto Aggie Beaver-Jones, who's gonna sprint on. The only thing I'm thinking is if that they're probably gonna then play Lucy Bronze right back and then Neve Charles left back. If they go and get up really high, you can just do the same thing. Just do what you did against Barca. Sit behind the ball and just play direct and play down the wings, and you'll probably beat them. But it's going to be a tough game.
Hopefully.
It's going to be a tough game.
We did it Wednesday.
They have to go
We can do it again. Like, we did it Wednesday, we can do it again. Yes, it's at Stamford Bridge, but I know there's a big, massive support that's travelling, and fingers crossed Steph isn't doing the DAZN coverage. She won't be. So she'll be there.
At least she'll play on a nice pitch in the Champions League.
Yeah, and hopefully, we are going to talk about it in a minute. But I just want to mention one more thing from the game today. One person at Manchester City that did not do their job correctly today was whoever organises the flags. Because if you haven't already, we have got a clip of it up on our TikTok, because Carolyn apparently didn't play in the number 14 today. Why?
Do they have a Carolyn flag?
No, but normally they bring a blank one out. So today, as much as I would love it, and I felt like I was in a bit of a dream, Kennedy 14 was brought on the pitch with the flags. For anybody who doesn't know, Kennedy left in January. She doesn't play for us anymore, and Carolyn is now in the number 14.
Yeah, so
they've looked and thought, they've just looked at the first two letters and then looked at the number, who knows? Well, yeah, who knows? But
so when they do the starting lineup, they have, so like, we'll say like Kiara Keaton, and then they'll have her number with the flag, like on the side, someone waving the flag. And obviously when they said Carolyn number 14, it came up with Kennedy on the flag, which is just hilarious.
I was like, oh my God. And he went, what? What's wrong with the flags? And I was like, that says Kennedy. And he was like, how did you know that straight away? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't have even thought to look.
But at least we had a decent pitch. So that's all that matters. Our pitch team did really well. Charlie, do you want to have your rant about your team on...
Well, obviously I couldn't watch the game because I was at training. I watched like the first 30 minutes.
I watched it.
The pitch was awful. Obviously, Ian Wright's come out and spoke about it, so I don't need to speak about it too much.
We won't.
Who cares about my opinion more than his, obviously.
We won't say exactly what he said.
I just feel bad for the kit man or woman for Real Madrid, because honestly, I can't remember who it was. They made one slide tackle, and that was it. The whole one side of the kit was brown. Like,
it looked like they were doing a slip and slide in mud,
it was awful.
Emily Fox as well.
It was awful. There was that, and then there was the one where the ball's in the air. Leah Williamson waits for it to bounce so she can volley it. As the ball bounces and she goes to kick, the ball didn't bounce, so it just stopped and she went over the ball. And then, like, that obviously led to the goal because the ball's played to her. She tries to just get in front of it and it just cuts up in the grass.
It was
awful. It was one of the worst pitches I've ever seen. It reminded, like, I think a pub team probably has a better pitch than that. It was shocking.
We have a better team than
shocking. But
Bradford.
At the end of the day, you're a
pitch.
footballer, you're a professional footballer. You've got to adapt to whatever it is. They did. They won 2-0. We couldn't adapt to it at all. We have to go and beat them, basically, and I don't think we will, but hey.
At least one of us will hopefully have a team that goes through.
Yeah.
I don't get it. How a team as big as Real Madrid, especially with like the men's team,
and they've just beat Barca as well.
And they've just beat Barcelona today. How anybody went to that pitch and thought, do you know what? That's deemed to be playable. You've had games called off.
Yeah, I think they just have bad weather.
Less state than that.
You can't call at this level at Champions League. You can't call matches off, like, because it doesn't fit within all the schedules. So they must have just had bad weather and the pitch just wasn't like properly drained and stuff like that.
Are you doing an Arteta and blaming the pitch?
Is what it is. I mean, the pitch was bad, but like I just said, we should have adapted. They did. And I'll be honest, I love watching Linda Caicedo play. I think she's
very good.
She's so good, and she deserves to be at a really high performing team. So if Madrid go on and do really well, I'm happy because I think she should be like smashing it. So I think it's now good that they're starting to perform well.
It was nice to see Caroline win as well.
I think she's mint as well. But I think also I think it's the furthest they've ever been is the quarterfinals. They've got there before, but that is the furthest they've been. They lost last time. So it would be nice to see them go through. Yeah. It would be nice for us to win it again though, because I don't want anyone else to win it.
Well,
I really don't want you or Chelsea to win it, because
it could still be bad.
We're the only English team that have done it.
Charlie just doesn't want that title being stolen. Clearly,
I really don't.
It would be nice though, because hopefully when we're filming this time next week, at least one of us will have a team that is still in the Champions League.
Imagine if we both don't go through.
Oh my God. You guys don't want to see that on a podcast, so fingers crossed at least one team goes through. And now I've got my Definitely City shirt, which may or may not have fallen into my hand in the club shop today. We've hopefully got it in the bag, but who knows? Should we talk about the rest of the WSL for today, because we have spent ages talking about this weekend.
Got him.
So West Ham surprisingly beat Tottenham 2-0.
That's from today. Who played yesterday? So Arsenal played.
Who played yesterday? Let me get it up.
There,
you played, didn't you?
We played and Everton. Yeah,
so Everton won 3-0. We'll talk about
against
them in a
Palace,
minute.
by the way, which is
Palace.
harsh because I really want them to stay up.
We will talk about them more in a minute. Arsenal beat Liverpool 4-0. Yes, revenge for knocking you out the cup.
We looked so good. They looked shocking, but we looked so good yesterday.
You also were at the Emirates. You were on your big stage.
Well,
I feel like you always play better at the Emirates.
We really play well, and it's one of the best pitches in the country.
Do you know what? It must be nice having the full stadium allocated.
Yeah, it's not the full stadium.
Well, as much as you get, because we definitely did not have that many people.
I think it was 38,000. I might be wrong.
They didn't even do attendance today.
I wouldn't.
It's just dawned on me, but I wouldn't either at the Etihad at the minute.
I could hear the conversation from the couple over the other side of the stadium.
I'm glad you're thinking funny. So let's just brush over Arsenal because nobody cares.
Cool.
West Ham beat Tottenham 2-0.
Yes, get in.
Yeah. Obviously Chelsea beat us.
You say he scored in the last minute as well.
I believe you're right. Not West Ham, Leicester Brighton was quite close. Yeah. I believe at one point Leicester were 3-0 up. And then Leicester were 3-0 up.
Wow, they were.
Yeah. And one of those goals came from an own goal.
And they missed a penalty.
And they missed a pen.
Wow.
One of their goals, so they obviously scored two of them. One of them was an own goal, unfortunately, for Brighton. And then they missed a pen. So technically it should have been 4-2.
They had someone suspended as well, I think.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think someone picked up a card and got suspended.
As you do.
One of them, I
think. Nikita Paris assisted a lovely goal from Halley, I can never say her name. In the 73rd minute, and then Frank Kirby scored a pen in the 81st minute. So both teams had a pen very close to each other. One was in the 77th minute, and then one was in the 81st minute. Which was a lot closer than I expected that game to be. I saw Brighton winning that because Brighton were obviously running with it at the beginning of the season, and I feel like they've flopped a little bit now. Obviously, we'll see more of that.
Brighton are so hit and miss, though. Like they perform well against the big teams.
They're becoming a bit of a retirement club, aren't they? They're a bit like Aston Villa are for Arsenal players.
They're in between,
ex-Arsenal players, because you've got Frank Kirby and Nikita Paris there, but on the other side, you have obviously got your young
And I think
players.
That was the only game, so let's move on.
I'm just looking at their starting lineup. And to be fair, neither team had a bad lineup, so it was quite level. I mean, not everybody can beat Leicester by a lot, can they?
And that was it, so let's move on.
And United... You're trying to move on. I don't want to discuss this one. Like, this one makes me feel quite sick. But
we're on the same points.
United beat Villa 4-0. Do you know how many games we have to win to try and catch up with you lot now? It's actually ridiculous.
You lot are irrelevant, man. It's us,
Rude.
United and Chelsea.
I hope you lose every single one of your next games. So the table at the moment in the WSL as it stands, I'm sure Charlie will work out how to edit this somewhere. If not, you're just going to have to listen to me say it. Palace are currently bottom. By 1 point on 9. Villa are 11th on 10 points. So basically, if Palace win their next few games and Villa lose them, Villa are going down.
It's going to be so close.
Which is going to be mental because you're going to lose some big named players from there. You've got the likes of Maz Pacheco, Rachel Daly, like
Who, Villa?
Villa,
Nunez.
That's what I was getting
Robinson,
onto her.
Missy
You've got
Bokearns.
so many
They made
players
so
that
many
will leave.
signings.
Then you've got Leicester, who are now 5 points clear of those bottom two at 10th. Tottenham on 17 points and 9th. West Ham at 8th on 18. Wow, that is close still. Everton are 19 points at the 7th. Liverpool are 6th on 21. Brighton, oh my God, Brighton are 5th on 22 points. So there's 10 points between us and them. So that's absolutely fine. Oh, what happened to my voice? That's absolutely fine. That's not going to change. And then top 4 at the moment, as it stands, City are 4th on 32 points. United and Arsenal are on 39 points each. Arsenal are only in front on goal difference, and Chelsea are top now on 47.
You lot could have done us a favour.
We could. It would have done us a favour. Do you know what I mean? It would have massively done us a favour. Never mind you.
5 points. And
like,
we've got the best
mental.
run. Arsenal got the best run to the end of the season.
Do you know who I think had the best run today, though, this weekend in general? I think it might happen to have been Madsen, who plays for Everton. Because not only did Everton get 3 points yesterday when they beat Palace 3-0, not only is she just back from having a beautiful baby, she also got engaged on the pitch yesterday after the game. Her partner went on the pitch as they'd done their team talk and proposed to her. It was really cute.
The
whole team were there. It was really cute. And that just wraps up the WSL for this weekend. We won't talk about the NWSL because it really was not that exciting. Angel City and Portland Thorns drew again.
There's been a lot of draws.
My plan was to stay up the other night.
It's like IKEA, the amount of draws.
Yeah, that was such a dad joke. Oh my God. There was a noise in the house the other night that woke us both up because I'd set an alarm to wake up for the game and I just didn't. And I turned on the second half for 10 minutes and obviously then fell asleep. But I'm quite glad I fell asleep because it would have been 4 o'clock in the morning for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
So,
it's just too late for me. Otherwise, I'd love to watch it, but it's too late for me.
Yeah, it is late for you, and you're a bit of a granddad, so.
I am.
The positive of all this excitement within women's football though, around the world, which I must take my hat off to the NWSL actually, because their attendance figures and everything are just immense.
Same for the women's
support is just crazy.
WNBA. WNBA is really good as well because there's one player, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but there's one player in the WNBA who's like just unreal, and the attendances and the view numbers are going up so much because she's just like bossing the league, so many people are going to watch it.
That's good.
It's class.
Well, the reason I mentioned the women's football thing, because the global revenue for women's football is set to exceed £1.8 billion by the end of this year.
Wow.
So, Joey Barton, get on your bike and get lost, and Alan Brazil, because 1.8 billion in revenue does not tell you that nobody watches women's football.
No, obviously people do watch it.
Clearly. And I know I'm big shout out to Izzy, who is the founder and the lady in charge of the Sportess, because she's actually out in America at the moment and she is kind of busy working over there, but she went to the Angel City game the other day and she actually recorded her surroundings around her, and there did not look like there was a single empty seat.
Yeah.
Sick. And she put it up and she was like, see, people do watch women's football.
Are they in big stadiums like the MLS?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. I know. It is amazing.
With like the nice weather as well, but it just looks unreal.
Yeah. Well, I have got more statistics to throw at you, but it seems as though we're talking about fan culture. I do feel like there is one thing we need to talk about. We have discussed it many a time, but after kind of what we saw at the end today, I think it was important for us to kind of talk about it again. So do you want to explain it or do you want me to explain it?
Well, it's just like
respect and players being seen as people.
Yeah, and I think we need to tie it into what you were gonna say about Lucy Bronze. Obviously, Lucy Bronze this week or last week has come out and talked about her kind of diagnosis with ADHD and autism. And I think it's just really put a point across of like, yeah, they are your favourite players, and yeah, they might be kind of out of touch for most people, but like, they are human. They are actual people. They do go through things. They deal with loss. They deal with grief. They deal with diagnoses just like everyone else does.
You never know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole thing with like Ellie Roebuck and stuff like that, you'd never know what is going on in someone's head or someone's life.
No.
So, like today was just a perfect example of just like players are coming out of the Etihad and fans are not even speaking to them and just throwing programs and shirts and
it's horrendous.
Anything in front of them, just sticking their phone in their face and just not saying like, oh, like, well played today, could I please get a photo, or like, oh my god, you're my favorite player, could I please get a picture with you, could I please have an autograph or something like that. It's just like expected, like, you're a footballer for my team, you should be doing something. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
No,
it's just not how it works. Like Laura Blinkendell-Brown is literally on crutches
with a boot on.
With literal pain in her face because she's hobbling out of a stadium. And people are like grabbing her, slowing her down, just getting her to sign things while she's leaning on her crutches. Like, like, what are you doing?
And our head of football had walked out as well, behind her, and she stopped her and basically had a conversation with her. I don't know what was said, obviously, but you suddenly saw this little smile on Laura's face, and she then just proceeded to leave with her family. And I think that there were other players that were spotted within that doorway as they were ready to leave, and they actually went out in different exits.
Yeah, they just said there's no point.
There was Bunny Shaw, there were a couple of others, and Viv and Beth Mead, because I'm just saying, Viv, if you want to bring Beth to City, feel free. Like, it's not a coincidence anymore that your missus is coming to all of our games. We'd really appreciate her in sky blue next summer. But like, they went out in a different exit. Bunny Shaw went out in a different exit. Carolyn, bless her, oh my god, she tried to push through, didn't she? And she just got swarmed. Lauren Hemp was with her dad and her girlfriend. She got separated from them.
Even Lily Murphy.
The same with Lily Murphy. Her sister and her parents were there, and they even got pushed away from them. And at one point, Lauren Hemp's girlfriend was laughing at her because there was no way she could get through, but there was no interaction with them. And I know last time we spoke about this, a lot of people came at us and said, well, you've met loads of players, you've had pictures with players, you've done this, this, and this, but we've always gone the right way about it. Like, it's never kind of us necessarily being approaching them direct. We've always been kind of autograph alley, or it's been in situations where we've seen them, like with Alana and with Steph Horton. And today Steph did walk out that exit and people were kind of running at her, and she walked past us and we just kind of smiled at her and was like, you all right, Steph? And she's like, yeah, I'm good, thanks, to you. And she just kind of walked off. And it was the same with Laura Blinkendell-Brown. And I think it kind of almost helped a little bit today because I was on 2 crutches as well, because I'm having a bit of a problem at the minute. And I shouted over to her with one of the other girls and just said, get well soon, Blinky. And she was like, thanks, and kind of smiled over, because she then realised that she wasn't on her own. I know it's not a comparison, but she wasn't on her own in terms of kind of being on crutches and getting away. And I just think it needs to change. I really do. And I mean, as soon as Beth was spotted today, she just wanted to watch Viv play football. And again, she'd come in, she didn't want to be noticed. She had a cap on. She was just wanting to spend time with family watching Viv play. And as soon as she was a bit higher up today, wasn't she? So people couldn't get to her. But people are going, and you're like, just let them enjoy the football. There shouldn't be. Their job is to train and play football, not to have to deal with people. And big up Lily Murphy and Mary Fowler, because they did come over at the end and they tried their hardest to get through as many people as they could. But even then, people were pushing forwards. One of our really good friends at City, she's got a little girl, and they'd gone down to the front, and even they ended up getting stuck because people were just pushing up against her. And our friend's little girl's only 2. Like, it doesn't just affect the players, but you've got to think about the other people around you. And being on 2 crutches today for me was horrendous at a game. And I'm not a player, but even I found it difficult trying to move out as people were pushing down to go and meet players. And I think people just need to remember that we don't know what's going on. And Charlie's obviously made the reference already, but as somebody, I feel represented this week. And it's not because she's my favourite footballer. That does help. But obviously Lucy Bronze did an interview with Alex Scott the other day and came out and basically said that she's got autism and ADHD. She was diagnosed 4 years ago, and it's something that's kind of helped her realise what it is that makes her, so as she says, her hyper focus is football, and that's what's made her so addicted and so kind of passionate about what she does. And as an adult who has been told by numerous medical professionals that they've got ADHD, it is tough. And I know I personally wouldn't want people running at me afterwards asking for pictures and just kind of being bugged. And I know that there's quite a few other people, especially a couple of our followers actually, had messaged me and said, "Have you seen it?" And because they feel like they're represented now, because one of their favourite footballers is now neurodivergent, and they were like, "Well, if she can be open about it, why can't we?"
100%.
And I think I know for myself, my brother's autistic, and if he is not comfortable in a situation or he gets overwhelmed with people, it makes him feel really uncomfortable, and you don't want players to feel that way. How do you know if when you're running up to a player and you're ramming your phone in their face going, "Let's take a selfie," that you're not overwhelming them? You're not going to put them in a situation where they are overstimulated, and it's just not a good
Also,
thing. And
if they've had a bad game,
yeah, exactly.
that's what
You
people
don't know
don't
how they're
understand.
dealing with that.
If you had a bad day and you didn't have a very good day at work and someone shoved a phone in your
Oh
face,
God, I don't even talk to you.
exactly. And now imagine if that's 50 to 100
Yeah,
people now shouting your name and shoving their phone in your face.
it's not
You're not going to
acceptable.
want to do it. And like it's annoying as well, and I always like sympathize because it's like if they don't do it and they just walk past players, there's going to be this thing of this social media thing of like they're really rude, they don't interact with fans, da, da, da. And then it's like
It shouldn't
that.
be an expectation.
No, it shouldn't. But that's what's going to happen because then it goes on social media, and then it will be, well, that player's really rude. They don't interact with any
It
fans.
happened in Dubai, didn't it?
But it's like that shouldn't happen. It should be what an amazing person they've stopped for you.
Yeah.
Even though you are rude, they've stopped for you. You should be the one. Like, yes, they are the professional, but you should also be the one that conducts yourself in the right way. And like I said, you never know what players are going through.
No, you don't. And I mean, there's another stat that came out this week. There was a PFA survey done, and they said that 60% of neurodivergent footballers keep it private because they worry that they're going to get judgment from fans
Yeah.
and their clubs. And I don't think that should be the case. It shouldn't. But the fact that those players feel like they can't be open about it, I know that there's Saf Middleton Patel that plays for
Yes.
Man U. I know that she has openly come out and said that she's autistic. Obviously, Lucy Bronze has come out and said that she's got ADHD and autism. Kirsten Kasperai made it known that she's got ADHD, and it takes a lot for players to come out and
Yeah,
say
because they
all
probably
this,
don't
and
want the conversation.
people don't consider that.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't get it.
They
I
probably
really
don't
don't get
want
it.
they don't want the conversation around it because like they probably just don't want the extra attention.
No.
Like they would rather just keep it to themselves and let their their teammates know and stuff like that and let the manager know and the coaches.
Yeah.
But like there's no point I'm guessing for them to because what I do and the way I process things should have nothing to do with what I do on the pitch. Like that's what I think as well. Like, if you want to come out and spread awareness, that's amazing. Like, that is such a good thing to do to put whatever's going on with you out there and to help other people with it. But if you're in a position where you don't want to do that, then that's fine, and you should be able to then keep your private life, whatever goes on that way, and then whatever you do on the pitch should be what you do on the pitch. I think it's just they're humans.
Yeah, they
Like
are.
we
People
don't
forget that.
like everyday people don't walk around going, "Oh, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this." It doesn't matter.
No.
Like just do what you do and tell people what you want to tell them.
Yeah, and I think it comes with all aspects of players' lives, doesn't it? You never know what their actual situation is.
Anything.
Like, everybody else is entitled to a private life, so why
Yeah.
can't they have a private life? And
100%.
nobody should feel like they can't be open and honest about who they are, but at the same time it shouldn't be an
And
expectation. But I think Lucy coming out and saying about her diagnoses will help a lot of people because they'll feel that they can relate to that. I know when I saw it, I was like, oh, actually, one of my favourite players has got it, so it's okay to kind of, I almost feel seen,
Yeah.
if you get what I mean.
And the reply to that is always, Yeah, but they get paid a lot of money, and it's like, and
that shouldn't be the case.
They don't get paid. Yeah, they get paid a lot of money, but they don't get, like, obviously the women don't get paid as much. But like, even when they mention it with men, it's like, yeah, they don't. The reason that they get paid a lot of money is not just so that you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, it shouldn't work that way.
Daft.
There is we've got 2 more points, Charlie, but I just need to find the one that I'm going to make because I can't.
Well, we've got 1 more point.
Well, no, there's one that was on here, but I've taken it off.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's alright. This is unedited, by the way, so you guys can see everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and this is gonna take forever. We'll talk about that first point. Just because people know I'm looking for something, so it's fine. It's not gonna look like I'm really rude.
So what is this stat that you've got? Because this doesn't make any sense to me.
So Charlie tried to read my notes earlier, but it didn't work because he didn't understand what I'd written.
Because it says minus. It says minus 22% out of 669.
Actually, it's a dash. So,
Still, 22% out of 669 doesn't make any sense.
So, a percentage has come out this week. I'm going to try and throw a percentage at you every week. This is my new favourite thing. A percentage has come out that said that out of 669 female football coaches, only 22% of them are female.
Right, so...
At female teams.
Right, so 669 coaches in women's football.
Yep.
22% of them are female.
Yep.
I'd love to know how recent that's jumped up.
This is the most recent figure, as far as I'm aware.
No, but like, I'd love to know what it was like last season, because obviously you had Jonas, you had Matt Beard, you had them too. You had was it someone in? There was someone in the championship as well that got sacked, and then they brought in a female coach. Obviously I'm a bit conflicted because, like, I just want whoever's the best kind of, like, the most qualified or the best suited to that role. So, like, for me, for example, I'm really passionate about women's football. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy coaching it. I love the development side of it. So, like, for me, I would feel like I would be a very good manager in a certain team. Yeah. But then also part of me is like, no, I want Arsenal to have a female manager. Or like, I want everyone in the WSL to be a female manager. But then also I'm like, I don't just want them to be a female manager because they're a female manager. I want them to be the best suited for the job. So for me, when we were looking at Nick Cushion and then we didn't get him and then we got Renee, I was like, yeah, class, because Renee's done really, really well and she's suited to Arsenal. And then you look at Nick Cushion and you're like, he literally suits what Man City need right now. So I feel like them 2 things have been perfect. They're the perfect candidates for that job.
Well, I'm just going to get it up, right? How many female managers actually are there in the WSL?
So you've got Sonia, you've got Renee, you've got...
Right. Oh, this is old.
Amber Whiteley.
This is old.
You've got the... Who else is there? There ain't...
The Villa manager is female.
Oh, yeah, because they got rid of him recently, didn't they?
Yep. Oh, because this is unedited as well. You all get my singing this week. Lucky you. So you've got Sonia, Amber, the Villa manager.
Yeah, the Villa manager now.
The Brighton manager's a woman, isn't it?
Oh,
no.
No, I don't think so.
Chelsea have got Sonia gone past. No. Palace did have a women's manager.
Yeah, I really liked her as well.
Leicester, Liverpool now. Not us. Not United. Not Tottenham.
There's not many.
Not West Ham.
So what was it?
Skinner.
No, they don't.
Oh no,
she's gone. They've got a man.
My goodness.
There's only like 3 or 4 in the WSL.
Out of 11 to 12 teams.
Which is not the worst, but like...
Still not great, though.
But look, let's talk about the ones that are in, though. The ones that are probably the best performing ones. You've got Renee and Sonia, top 2.
You're not wrong. You know,
They're both mint.
Females will run the world one day. Women's football will be bigger than men's football. But the last point.
That shouldn't be the fight.
It shouldn't. But it would be great.
They should just be their own things, and whoever wants to watch it watches it. Shouldn't be a competition.
And if we end up on your algorithm, hi. One thing I did want to mention, because this came to light after, it's not a positive point to end on, but I feel like it's important we talk about it. So we didn't actually see this until after we'd filmed the podcast last week, because I feel like this would have been something that was spoken about on the podcast in the same kind of breath that we spoke about Taylor Hines and Bunny Shaw and the discrimination that they've experienced the past few weeks. So outside the League Cup final last weekend, there was a protest. Okay, I think you've seen about this. There was a protest. Now, there were several people who turned up with banners outside Pride Park to ban Barbara Banda? I can never say her name.
She's Barbara the one Banda, I mentioned last week.
Who plays for Orlando Pride and Zambia. So she does not even play in England, right? They protested to say that it baffles me that, one, this has been allowed, like this has happened in the first place, and two, that it's happened over 5,000 miles away in a League Cup that she has no involvement in. And these people basically protested and said she shouldn't be allowed to play in women's football.
Why?
Because they referred to her as being male, even though she is not. She is female.
Is it similar to, you remember the in the Olympics, that boxer? Is it similar to that?
Yeah.
I didn't really know anything about it.
And they didn't even have tickets to the game, right? So they made these big, massive banners. Stood outside the statue, outside Pride Park, with these banners. I think there were about 10 of them. Protested that she should not be allowed to play in women's football, right?
Right.
Despite the fact that she plays for Orlando Pride.
Right.
Okay. They did not have tickets to the game, so what did they do instead? After their protest, which clearly was not successful because everybody was already inside Pride Park, they went to the pub.
That's the most British.
Can you believe that?
It's the most British thing we've
There were British people protesting about a player who should and will play in the women's game because she is female, plays for Orlando Pride in Zambia, so she's in the NWSL, not the WSL, and wasn't even involved.
Well, I mean, it's done something because that's got 31,000 impressions, so it's clearly done something.
Do you not think it's just a bit mental though? That
it's like
this weird. Is what people think is okay to do.
Just why the League Cup is the only thing why would you not do like a Lionesses game at Wembley?
Even then, that would not be relevant because she plays for Zambia.
No, but they obviously feel strongly about it, so they're going to protest at a game. But they're not just going to fly all the way to America to protest. But at least pick a game where people are going to see it.
But then I don't get it. But I felt like it needed the platform to talk about it. Oh, and yesterday we will end on a positive. We were supposed to go. Well, Charlie was, because I was out on anti-duty. But Charlie was supposed to go to the
National
League Cup final against Nottingham Forest and Stoke. And it was at Walsall. Now, we couldn't go. I couldn't go because I was anti-duty. And for Charlie, the travel, it was impossible because of train cancellations and everything else. But Nottingham Forest won.
3-1.
3-1. And it looked like it was quite a good game, actually. I did have a bit of FOMO when I saw some of our fellow content creators who were there yesterday. But it looked like it was a good game. So, yeah, they won that. And Bournemouth have just won their league as well.
Division 1. They're coming up, aren't they?
Division 1. They're at South. They have just won 2. So actually, we'll end on a positive. And we'll be starting the pod with a positive next week because 1, you'll all be subscribed. 2, you'll all have liked the video. And 3, Man City will be through in the Champions League.
And hopefully Arsenal will be.
And hopefully Arsenal, but you don't know. We'll see. It is what it is. But if you haven't already, like the video, leave us a comment. If there's any topics you want us to discuss at any point, feel free to drop us a message on TikTok or Instagram or comment below the video and we will do our best to cover them. The itinerary is going to get smaller and smaller as the end of the season comes around before the Euros because we've got a bit of a gap to fill. So if you've got any suggestions, let us know.
And if you're still here, because this is our longest episode, then shout out to you. Shout out to you if you watch this in the car. Shout out to you if you make your dad or your nan or your dog listen to the podcast, because we appreciate you.
Yeah, shout out to Hannah, actually, who we said we would mention if she's got this far in the pod tonight, because she came and found us at the Etihad today and asked us for a picture. And she said her and her dad listened to our podcast. So we very much appreciate it.
So thank you for listening to us ramble about football, even though we know nothing about it.
And everything else.
Cool.
But yeah.
See you in the next one for episode 12.